Good evening. Hello to the millions of people here today. Thank you for being here. The few, the proud, the HOA board members. Is that how it goes? I don't know. Raise your stuck. Voluntold. That's the word I use. Some of you I've met, some of you I haven't. I'm Chris. I'm the Township Supervisor. I've been here in this role for 13 years. We're glad you're here. We are being recorded, so if people miss this meeting, thank you for tuning in later, but thank you for coming out. We do this meeting once a year to try to give you an opportunity to hear from the people. If you're on an HOA board, the people that at some point you're probably going to need to connect with, and you're going to hear from them. I'll introduce them to you as we go. They have all promised to keep their presentations to 5 minutes, ish. And but there's a lot of great information that's going to come here. Why are we doing this? Because it's important for you to know how to get in touch with the folks that you'll need to deal with in your roles. As I started saying, 15 years ago, I accidentally went to a homeowners association meeting in my sub and left there as the vice president. Somebody elbowed me and I accidentally raised my hand when they were taking the vote or something, and here I stand. So you never know. Be careful because you might be up here next. But we really pride ourselves in serving you all. Our team is providing excellent customer service, and this is an extension of that, trying to show you, shake hands and meet with the people, and that's why we're doing this little open house format, which we heard that from you all over the years, that opportunity to kind of chat. But the other thing that's really important here tonight is make sure that if you received our email or if you somehow you're here, make sure we have your contact information. We don't spam you. We don't send you a bunch of information, but connecting with you when it's important is important to us, and we know there's turnover in boards and things like that. So thank you all for being here. This is going to be somewhat interactive. We're going to try to keep this moving and keep this part to an hour, and then you'll have an opportunity afterwards to hang out and ask questions and specific questions to people. Usually there's a long line for those three gentlemen over there and their teams. But part of what we do is making sure we're accessible. We work for you. Some of the great things that you should know, and we'll probably be covered, and I don't want to steal the thunder, but we have been again ranked the safest community in the entire state of Michigan of a community our size. I think it's like 5 or 6 years in a row. Our team does a great job, and that helps your property value. So we have a lot of great news to share tonight. First, is there anybody here from ONTV? Because they're on the slide deck. I know, but are you? She's back there. I'm here. Sorry, I know you are. But we had some slides. I'm just gonna flip through quickly their slides. Sorry. We just want to take an opportunity always to let you know that they're a great resource. They are at the former Orion Center, soon to be school, Lake Orion Community Schools admin building. But the reason we put them in the slide deck is to let you know you can use them for a resource. They will record your meetings. They will record entertainment things, but also a lot of educational things. So that's Orion Neighborhood Television. Quick update. So what you're going to hear tonight is, again, if you have questions, we'll have you raise their. Oh, there's Tracy. That's Tracy from ONTV. She's kind of like halfway out there. No, she's not coming in. Hi, Tracy. All right. Anyway, so what you're going to hear is kind of a rapid fire. We will take a couple questions as we go, but we'll try to keep it moving because we want to be respectful of your time. But you're here to get information. Raise your hand, by the way, if this is if you're new to a homeowners association board. Couple. Raise your hand if you're excited about being on your homeowners association board. All right, couple. Most of you are honest. But we couldn't do it without you. And again, we want to be an extension of your team. When you need assistance, we're going to talk about some specific things that we've helped with recently. That's what we're here for. So, quick update from my office, my team. We're really pushing this program. Raise your hand if you know Civic Plus. Have you gotten a text message when we had these road closures? Yes, you should. Some of the information we're going to share tonight, all this information is going to be, we're going to upload the slide deck to our website tomorrow. But we're hopeful you are pushing this information because what we've learned over the years is people don't want to necessarily read an email from the township or the fire department but a lot of times they will look at your neighborhood Facebook page or your neighborhood email list. So we're hoping you'll help us push some of this information out. This is a program we spent money on, but the good news is it's free to residents. We will never sell your information or spam you. It's free. Look at that, just like we planned. But we have used this. If you are signed up for this, you'll know we've had some recent road closures, some emergency incidents, a fatal accident, unfortunately. But we will send you emergency news, things that are happening in our community. Hopefully we don't ever have to use this, but as you know, we do. So great tool. You can scan the QR code or you can text Orion, Michigan to that number, 38276. It's free. Told you. The other thing we deal with in my office are all the complaints. And we get a fair amount, but we're really hopeful we respond to you. And a lot of times if you have issues, we want to be very responsive to you. The biggest complaint we've received recently, most recently, is Clarkston Road. The good news is it will be, I have 100% confirmation that it will be open tomorrow. I actually told, we can clap, I don't know, I live right there too. I told the director of engineering for the road commission, I said, we're suing someone tomorrow. I don't know who, I don't think we can, if the road's not open tomorrow. It has been a comedy of errors. It should have been a 2-week project, it's been 9. The contractor will never do work in the county or for the road commission again, but once they were so far in, by the way, just a quick fast fact, that road is built on 5 feet of rubber. First time a road has been built on rubber in the state of Michigan, and we're really hopeful it works. But if you're familiar with that road, it continued to fail. In the center, it's a connection of 2 lakes. They replaced the culvert and built a road on rubber, shredded tires. It'll be open tomorrow. So I will kind of wrap up at the end. If there's any questions for me, we are kind of the clearinghouse, and when you call, we hope we give you great customer service. We work for you. That's what we're here for. So now you're going to get the roundabout of our team here. We're going to start with public services. Bill and Vince and Christine are all here tonight. Yeah, please. You want your own clicker? Or do you want?
Appreciate it. Thank you, sir. Good evening, everybody. I'm Bill Basco with Water and Sewer, Public Services. Vince Nicole is here, and Christine Gordon from our office. So we'll start with some information that we've gone over in the past a few times. Our water, this is different than my slide. Watering restrictions. I know it's fall, we're not irrigating as much now, but watering restrictions are from midnight to 5 a.m., June 1st through September 30th. I might have it. The reason we do this is it's a savings for us. We restrict our flow at 6 o'clock in the morning from Great Lakes Water Authority. We live off the tower. This is a huge saving, but that is our high peak time for demand of water. So we live off the water tower. So if everybody's irrigating and using water at the same time, we have low water pressure. So that's why we have people water between midnight and 6. Nobody else is using water at that time, so it's a great time. We have no pressure issue, no volume issue. Now we're back on to what I have. So, and back on to the irrigating, we do have a backflow testing cross-connection program where people who are connected to the system with the irrigation system have to have their device tested every 3 years. It's mandated by the state. It's not something that we enjoy doing, but we have to do it. It protects our water system. What's that? I think we do a pretty solid job of observing it. We have. There might be some that fall through the cracks, but when you add an irrigation system, you're supposed to pull a building permit. They send that information to us. They have to have a test report. Even if it's a new device, it has to be tested. So that gives us the information, and we've gone back on records. We actually sent out a survey in 2018 to homeowners. stating whether they did or didn't. We did a little spot investigation, whether we went out and verified they had the system. So we have, I think, over 5,000 customers that we have test. Not all at once in 1 year, but it's spread out over 3 years. So we have it divided up in the 3-year sections. Next, sir.
Is this the right one, or?
Yeah, yep. So we're asking people, you can only test the system once it's on, so when you have it turned on in the spring, have it tested. We're asking for the reports to be returned back to us by August 31st, because we have to do reporting and send it to the state. There's a list of ASSE certified backflow testers on our website where people can pick and choose who they want to use. Next. So this is a map of our township, most of our sewer mains. We've broken it up into 3 sections. We go out every 3 years and jet that section. Last year we did green. We'll be moving on to purple. So if we put signs up in entrances of neighborhoods so people know that we'll be coming out, we try and do that about a week before we hit neighborhoods. So if you do see those signs, you know that we're going to be out there jetting. Probably be a safe idea to put the toilet seats down. 'Cause it does on some homes, it will create a vacuum or a pressure surge. We are working on our GIS mapping. All these little blue dots are individual shutoffs for homes. We've been putting them on a map system, so we're able to locate those a lot faster when there's an emergency at a house. We can usually locate them within 5 minutes, and before, sometimes it would take hours to find them. So if we find them broken, we fix them, we make sure they're operable, put them on a GIS. So if you see a blue dot in your yard, usually that's it, or where it's a mistake. ACH, we're asking everybody who can and wants to sign up for ACH. I know the mail system's sometimes a little slow. This avoids late fees and makes sure that your payments are on time. It's no cost to you. Just fill out the form, send that information into us, which will lead to paperless billing. You can sign up for paperless billing also. That way we email your bill. If you're interested, send it into Mary I. Hauser. Our water quality report, we get it out every year. July 1st, it's due for us to have it out to everybody. It has all sorts of information on what's in your water, what's been taken out of your water, and how often what we're testing for and how often we're testing. Baldwin Road maintenance. So we oversee the Baldwin Road contract for the maintenance of the Baldwin Road. Usually that's mowing, taking care of the weeds, and trimming the shrubs and bushes. Anybody notice that the fountain is pink this month? So that was an idea from one of our staff members. Did a little research on that. Christine Gordon and our staff members went out and they tested the dye to make sure we weren't going to permanently change it pink. So it's going to be pink until October 31st. Boat shrink program, so next spring will be our 3rd year. It started off a little slow. This year was a little bit better. We're hoping for more involvement, more participation. Come in, call us in May, April, May, we'll have bags ready. So when you guys cut the shrink wrap off your boats, put them in the bag. We'll have an updated spot. We might not be doing Friendship Park this year. We might be moving it towards the DPW area. A little bit more room, a little more easy access for people. Single hauler, everybody knows we have a single hauler, it's waste management. We switched over in January to them. Complaints have slowed down. There's still some issues that we're working through with them. We are their liaison, so if there's any issues, call us and we can try and facilitate fixing those issues.
Sorry.
Go ahead.
I'm going to chime in a few things here. The one big thing we can still need help with is garbage has to be in a container, a township container. So they will not pick up garbage on the ground. And in our previous contract, since 2020, this has been, the rule hasn't changed. 2 previous haulers sometimes would, sometimes wouldn't. If people have more garbage than fits in one can, they need to buy an additional can. It's a one-time cost, does not change their quarterly cost. All that information's available on our website, as far as also bulk items, but that's been the big thing. And ultimately, that's what we want. When you have garbage that sits, there are several days also, after holidays that they will pick up additional garbage outside of cans. That's all on the website, like after Christmas when you have all the boxes. But ultimately, once people get used to that, that's the right thing. The animals don't get in the garbage. It doesn't blow all over the community. It needs to be in a can. And the service, all the two previous providers also were supposed to be fully automated. They just didn't have the equipment. WM does. So those trucks have one person in it. They can't stop and get out at every house and throw garbage, or they'd never finish their routes. So that's a key point. Dave?
Yeah, Chris, thanks. David Goodlow, Billing Official Code Enforcement. One thing we do get with garbage cans is they get left at the road for extended periods of time. You can give us, our code enforcement team, a call. We actually have a courtesy sticker that we go out and put on, and it informs them that they need to get it in, and that's a good way to communicate that to them in a non-invasive way by sending a letter or whatnot from our team. So if you do have a problem with somebody leaving their cans at the street, you can give us a call, and we just put a courtesy sticker. It's a blue sticker. They can read it, they understand, and then usually takes care of the problem. So, thank you, Chris.
And they do pick up bulk items once a week on Thursday, one item. In additional items, there is a charge, or you can wait another week to have it picked up. Hazardous waste, again, we're a little late in the season, but we do have them 4 times a year. As soon as we get the dates for next year, we'll have them on our website. And the free disposal day at Eagle Valley, again, it's already been passed, but once we get those dates for next year, we'll have them on our website. Yes, sir. I think I would have to refer to the website on that, but I'm pretty sure as long as they're bundled into, I think it was 3 feet, then you're okay.
And I can show you, pull that up in a minute, we'll keep moving, but yes, there, if you go to the garbage, just go to our website and look at, search garbage. It'll bring you a page and it's got pictures and tons of information, it's all right there, but we're happy to answer more questions.
Large amount of information that I don't remember that it will be on that website. Anybody else have any other questions? Yes, sir.
Eagle Valley still provides free recycling, still, right?
They do, or you can just put it in your bin too. Yes, they do.
They do. So we still have free recycling
At the landfill, yeah. And thank you, because I meant to introduce and I messed up, but I want to just recognize the board members that are here that all work for you also. That's Mike Flood, our trustee. Next to him is Jack Lovett. And then our clerk, Julia Dalrymple, and our treasurer, Matt Pfeiffer. So 5 of the 7 of the elected officials that serve you are here. So thank you to them. Yeah, a couple more questions here, so.
Yes, sir.
Right.
On the recycling or?
They don't know, right now we don't have recycling for styrofoam in Orion. So just put it in your trash, unfortunately. We've talked to them extensively, and there's even discussion about starting a recycle facility here, but currently, there's no imminent plans. Yeah.
I'm sure that would be in talks when they get to that point where they're willing to build a recycling plant or, yeah. There's always that possibility.
Any other questions?
Thank you.
Oops, I have garbage wrong. Thank you, Bill. All right, next we're going to go to police. Lieutenant Keith Weir from the Sheriff's Office. I'll go back to the presentation because
I've just been given listen, you're a long-winded talker.
and he is.
Supervisor gave you 5 minutes. Let's keep it to 5 minutes. So that's what I'm going to try to do for you today. Good evening. I'm Lieutenant Weir. I'm your substation commander for Orion Township. Next week will mark 1 year of my service here as your commander in Orion Township, thanks to Supervisor Barnett. When he and I met just about a year ago, we sat down for a couple hours and he talked to me specifically about safety in this community and how am I going to serve. And the word serve has a broad meaning. But, you know, my boss, Sheriff Bouchard, and our new Major Wondrek, or Major Yiser, excuse me, that came in, they talked to me about, specifically about this job in Orion Township and what it meant to them. And Orion Township, if you haven't researched it or you don't know, is the longest serving township with the Sheriff's Office. So it's has a long history, and I'm here to hopefully fulfill the rest of my career and make the history a part of mine also. I grew up in this community. I went to high school here. I graduated from Lake Orion High. I won't tell you which year, but probably right around the time the rest of us graduated high school, except for a few in this room. So mainly the young men and women that work for us. So I'll get on to the presentation if it'll pop up here. So I just want to talk briefly about the safety within your communities, right? Your HOAs. What does it mean to you, and what does it mean to the residents that you represent as presidents, vice presidents, representatives, okay? As the supervisor spoke, Orion Township is one of the safest communities in the nation with under 40,000 residents. And the reason that is because of people like you, right? Your engagement. We can't do this without you. And when we talk about service, we have to provide a service to you. So when you contact us with a concern or a problem or something that you may think, you know, I don't want to call dispatch for this, but I want to have a contact. I'm that person. I'm your contact. We can serve your HOA. We can serve your community. So, and how do we do that? We identify and address the safety and security concerns within your community. How do we do that? You bring your concerns to me. We come up with a game plan on how we service that community. So if you have problems with traffic, right, you tell me, you know, your concerns about why is it that you feel you have a problem with speeders in your community? Then we address it. We address it with either enforcing the motor vehicle code, or we utilize our speed carts, put our speed carts out, collect data, and then we can address the specific times and dates and those speeders. So we can do that. And why it matters. Safety. It's all about safety, right? We all want our kids to be safe. We all want our neighbors to be safe. We want to feel as if we live in a safe environment, and we know we do that now. What we're covering is the key safety issues, proposed solutions, and resident involvement. Next. Thank you, sir. So the crime and security concerns, what's our number one complaint? And if anyone knows, show a hand. What's our number one complaint in Orion Township? Speeding. That is a great problem to have if you're in law enforcement, right? I just came from the city of Pontiac where I served 2 years as their commander on afternoons and midnight shift. And I can tell you, running the violent crime task force there and then coming to Orion Township and picking up the phone, it's quite different, right? Our concerns are speeding, traffic complaints, traffic accidents, congestion, and how can we address that? So we have some ways to do that. The vandalism, package theft, unauthorized access, and larceny. I pulled up the numbers, just made a quick note here. For 2024, there were 37 larceny from autos in Orion Township and HOAs, 37. This year, we're at 23. So we're slightly under, but we're on track, probably to be in the same ballpark. So those concerns, although they're low numbers, if you're a victim of that type of crime, that's a huge number to you, right? And it's a huge number to me. I want that to be zero. And how do we get there? How do we address that? So some of these solutions, install license plate readers. We in the township have a contract with a company called Flock. We use license plate readers on our main highways. That gives us access through that partnership to have access to the Flock cameras throughout the United States. But what's not known is license plate readers can be purchased by HOAs. You can enter into a private agreement with them. So we don't have to be involved, the township doesn't have to be involved. And you have access to that data. If you care to share that access, it's no different than Ring camera. If you have, like a doorbell camera on your house and you choose to share that video content with the sheriff's office, that's a personal choice. If you don't want to share that data, you don't have to. License plate readers are the same. And how they work is you set up an ingress and a egress camera. You enter into the contract. The HOA president and its membership gets to decide who has that access. Is it just the president, vice president, and the attorneys that represent that HOA, or is it the entire HOA itself? So that's something that they would set up. But it's a great tool to combat the larcenies, the stolen autos, the stolen license plates, and the careless driving and reckless driving within your community. So that's a thought that you should be bringing to your membership to see if that's something that you wish to do. The installing the security cameras in the common areas, most HOAs are now looking to do that, especially if you have pools, rec areas, or parks, or just a recreational area that you want to install those cameras to deter criminal activity and deter the disorderly content.
And one of the biggest deterrents is locking your cars. I will tell you, for 12 years, I don't anymore, but I left my car unlocked with my keys and my ignition because it's such a safe community. I didn't even think about it until someone took all the change and a camera out of my car. Didn't take my car. But it was mostly kids in our sub that I lived in at the time. So a lot of times we find out just a lot of the cars that are getting messed with are just not locked.
Which brings us to our next slide. Lock your doors.
We did not practice this.
See?
We did not practice this.
He knows that's a.
I didn't have these slides.
It's so common when we get these larcenies, and this year again, we're at 23 unlocked vehicles, people that left their doors unlocked. Now here, it's a problem just like anywhere else. A lot of people leave their firearms in their car, right? So when that car gets broken into, they're not just looking for your wallet and your credit cards and some change and cigarettes or whatever is stolen from there, but a lot of times we have these groups of individuals that come from different parts of the county into our community, and they're looking not only to break into your car, but they're looking to steal firearms, right? And they use those firearms in other crimes, or they're sent off to different states and used there because they can't purchase firearms in those states because of the laws that they have, right? So very important to lock up your vehicles. Vacation safety. The slide didn't turn out as well as I thought it would, but we have a QR code now. The sheriff has started a new app, Oakland County Sheriff's Office app, and I have the flyer out in the hallway, and I'd love it if everyone stopped by, scan the QR code, and download the sheriff's app. It gives you so much access to what we have going on in the sheriff's office, and just the forms and the presentations that are available to everyone. We get asked all the time about active shooter response training now, and there's a link in that app that takes you right to it that you can share with your business partners or commercial people or just people within your communities. So that app is very important if you could go and get that.
And we will fix the slides. They'll be on our website tomorrow, so you'll be able to grab this tomorrow.
It's kind of hard to get off of here. All right, next one. The website or the app? Yeah, if you just go to Oakland County Sheriff's app, it'll pull up. Yeah. The QR code was on the screen, but
QR code would take you to that, yeah.
yeah, it'll take you to the.
And we will fix that so that tomorrow, if you go to our website, give us a little bit in the morning, we'll fix those slides, and you can share those out, or link it, and then people will be able to grab the QR code off the slide.
Yeah, and I brought a whole stack of the flyers. You can just grab one. The QR code's right on it. You just open the. So the community initiative's pretty simple, strong community involvement. Without you, we can't get things done. If you don't report it to us, and if you don't have, enter into that partnership with us, it's difficult for us to combat these things, because most of the time, even with your business related crimes, it's all because someone came forward and shared information with us that we solved these, right, or technology. Establish a neighborhood watch program, build a community system. You should all have the email list of all your members. Again, the app for group text. Partner with local law enforcement liaison and support and training, and that app now gives you that opportunity. For your residents, for the people that you report to, just like I report to you, they should be reporting all the hazards within their HOA, whether it's police or fire or code related. To you. They could volunteer for safety and security committees and join neighborhood watches. We get that a lot. How do I start a neighborhood watch, right? And for the board, conduct a full safety audit of your common areas. We talked about that, right? Cameras, ingress, egress, and where can we, boost our security here to keep a safe community, especially like playgrounds and such. Partner with local police and community service and collect quotes for lighting security upgrades. A lot of times we find when we go into neighborhoods, and they're private, and they're not regulated county roads, the lighting is poor or could be upgraded. So that's something to look at now. That's especially important. And if we go to the next slide. There you go. That's my information. And I told the chief I'd be 5 minutes. Was that 5 minutes? Try to keep it.
11, it was 11.
See, long-winded. I apologize.
We'll
Yes,
blame the slide operator. Any other quick questions for Lieutenant Weir? Eight 858-4911.
download the app, right? And that will give you a forum for anything outside that you want to call 911 for, not emergency. So if you're having problems with speeders in your neighborhood, you can go right on there and report it in that app. It'll come directly through, and then I can look at it and assign it out. If you want,
Then they can call 911.
gratitude and respect for making sure that that's happened throughout the years. I'm lucky to walk into these shoes today. So, anyone else?
All right, we're going to keep moving. We'll have more time afterwards. Thank you, Keith. And one more thing he didn't mention, and it wasn't in the slides, so I didn't steal it, but we just purchased at our last board meeting a DFR drone as a first responder. It'll sit on the roof of this building, and it will be able to respond within seconds, controlled from Waterford. And it'll be used for hopefully never a bad situation, but if an elderly person wanders away, it has heat seeking on it. It's a great tool. One more tool in the toolbox. So we're continuing to invest in our safety here. So thank you, Lieutenant. We're going to bring up the Chief, Chief Ryan Allen. Another born and raised from Lake Orion, did a circle in the Carolinas, Oklahoma, and we swiped him back 2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Okay, so as was said, my name's Ryan Allen. I am your Orion Township Fire Chief. In the back, I have Assistant Chief Pender, our Office Coordinator, Bailey Cubba, and one of our fire inspectors, Anton Ross. So I am going to try and keep this to 5 minutes. Here's our breakdown for calls for service. Unfortunately, 2024 was a record year, but with all the growth and everything, we're slowly seeing these numbers start to climb a little bit more and more. We're able to serve you through a variety of apparatus. We will hopefully be receiving 2 new fire engines and 2 new ambulances this year. We're trying to update the fleet in order to make sure that we have the latest and greatest to be able to get to you and that our stuff is up and running in time. One of the big things that I want to point out, everybody's still surprised, some time ago, like 3 years ago, we did purchase 2 marine units. So one of them stays in the water on Lake Orion during the summer, and the other is a semi-inflatable that we can deploy in all the other 42 wonderful lakes that we have in the area. So some of the things that we offer in order to keep the community safe, we can skip. This just shows our increasing call volume over the years, but we can move right on to the next one. Some of the things that we offer to keep you safe. We do offer CPR classes. These are certified, card-certified CPR classes, so if you need them for work, daycares, child sitters, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, anything like that, you can come to the fire department, call the fire department, and we're happy to get those scheduled and out into the community. So they are something we're really trying to push on a regular basis. The next thing should be our address sign program. Orion Township, it was asked earlier, we looked it up. Orion Township does have a code compliance. We do need to be able to see your residential address. These are really, really helpful. What I tell people is go outside in the middle of a storm, to the middle of your road at 2 o'clock in the morning and see if you can see your address from the roadside, because that's usually when we're called. Usually it's not a bright sunny day where we're able to just come out. So look at them in the bad times so that we can make sure that your address is visible and we can find your house in case of an emergency. The next part is our smoke alarm program. We partner with the state of Michigan to offer smoke alarms. These are free to you as a resident. We cannot, unfortunately, change out the ones that are plug-in, but we can install the battery-operated ones. They have a 10-year internal lithium-ion battery, and then we also offer carbon monoxide alarms as well. So there is really no excuse. Go home, check your alarms. If you need new ones, give us a call. It's a free program. We come out and install as many as you need with no charge. The next part, these are great for our aging community, or if you are somebody that likes to take a lot of vacations and are not home. It's our Roper Box program. So the fire department has the master key to these Roper boxes. We can put them over any of your door jambs. And then if you are out and there is an emergency, we actually put an alert on our 911 service. And if we come to your residence and you're not home and we need to gain entry, or if you have a loved one inside that is unable to come to the door, we can get in without having to break down the door or anything else. They run, Anton, $30? Okay, so the $30, I can tell you the repair on a door jamb is going to cost you $100 probably at a minimum. And then the last one we have is our lovely food truck program. We want to make sure our community is safe. We enjoy the food trucks just as much as you do. However, we have found lots and lots of issues with some of them. And this is just a program that we do. Have your food truck come by the fire department, schedule a time to come by the fire department before you get out in the community so that we can make sure that it's safe while they're serving you. If there's any questions, I can take a couple questions now.
4 minutes. Let's give him a round of applause.
I told you I was
All right, but no, but
I
all
can
right, now,
talk
but
quick.
I don't know, we might have 20 minutes of questions.
Might have
So
20
let's see
minutes.
what the audience thinks. Anybody have questions?
Yeah. It's one in each bedroom and one on each level of the house. So if you have a basement, we'll put one in the basement, one in every bedroom, and then if you have like a, you know, if the bedrooms are on the third floor or second floor, we'll put one on the first floor as well. Yes. It doesn't really matter, no. They all function pretty much the same.
Car seats too, we'll install car seats for free, sorry.
Phasing that program.
Phasing that out, we're not doing that anymore.
That's why it's not in. Yes, ma'am.
Quiet, Chris.
Fire extinguishers are much better than fire blankets. In order to operate a fire blanket, you have to get closer to the fire. In order to operate a fire extinguisher, you move away from the fire. Any other questions? Yes. You should have it, you should really look on it. It'll have an expiration date, usually somewhere stamped on it. If it doesn't, it's probably old enough that it needs to be replaced. And those can be disposed of, I don't know, where are we disposing of them right now? Yes, ma'am. Yeah. The little residential ones they're good for usually 5 to 7 to 10 years, depending on what they're charged with, and then we throw them away. The bigger, the commercial ones can be recharged, but those are gonna be 2 feet high or greater. So probably the ones you have under your kitchen sink or something like that are good for 5 to 10 years and then need to be disposed of through waste management. Anything else? All right, thank you.
Thank you, Chief. This one, they get a few more minutes, because this is the one that we are dealing a lot with homeowners associations, with the building department and code enforcement. So, Mr. Dave Goodlow.
Welcome, I'm David Goodlow, building official, and I also run the code enforcement department. We have Jeff Ward, Dave Curry, our enforcement officers, and our administrator, Catherine Trapp. We also have Mark Landis, who I work with closely as one of our township engineers. We appreciate him coming. Purpose of HOAs is really to maintain the property values within the area, within the subdivision, 100%. That's your responsibility, and I appreciate all you who take on that responsibility, because we have to have a good common partnership with us when we're working together, right? What would you say the biggest issue that we have in code enforcement would be? Any guess? Stormwater. Stormwater is our number one issue when we talk about code enforcement. Obviously, this is probably a little different than what I do if you want to just do this. A lot of this is just general information, but I want to talk about kind of we'll start with this, because this was my presentation that I had. So start with this, common ordinance violations, right? Dogs, property maintenance, pets, junk vehicles, all those things. Weeds, tall grass, we do have a lot of that as well. It's probably, we handle it more with citizen complaints with that, but when you talk about things that affect property values and affect subdivision, it is stormwater. Fences, you got to remember that. Usually HOAs have their own regulation on fences. It's 4 foot high on the property line for township ordinances, and we do have to enforce just over 100 ordinances by these two gentlemen, myself, and our team. So fences, 4 foot on the property line, and if it's off, you can go 10 foot off the property line for a 6 foot fence. So if you want a 6 foot fence, it has to be 10 foot off the property line. You can put a 4 foot fence on there. Temporary structures, obviously, that's what it is. Sometimes we do have issues with somebody getting one of those portable units that they're moving stuff in and leaving in their driveway. Trailers, garbage cans I spoke of a little earlier. Trailers, usually you do have your own regulations. I'd like you to know that we only enforce township ordinances, state law, building code, residential code. We don't enforce HOA bylaws. We can't, it's something that's not in our scope. we try to work with you and together on it, but we cannot enforce your laws if they're more restricted than state law. We can enforce state law or ordinances. If you're more strict than that, we can't do anything about it, but we will assist any way we can, obviously, education of whatever we can do to assist. Permits, one of the biggest things. Anybody in architectural committee here? No? One thing we do, oh, over here? Yes, good. So when you approve a plan, you might have your certain standards. Like I said, we can't enforce your standards on that architectural plan. Alls we can ask is that you make sure they're aware that they need a building permit so we can make sure that it is built to plan. We tried a pilot program a couple years ago where we would get the HOA acceptance letter of the project. We really didn't get a whole lot of buy-in. I was hoping to see more people here. That's something that I would really like to bring back because we can require it. We do have a little tab and under our project tabs that it is an HOA letter saying approval, but we can't enforce it. So if you say no and they come to us and say, I want to build this and it meets all our ordinances of state law, we have to say, yeah, but then you have to enforce your laws on them, and that becomes a problem. So constant communication, that's why it's always important that we have that constant communication back and forth. Go ahead, next one, Chris, thanks.
Stormwater's after this. I don't know if they're in the wrong order, but do this and then.
Yeah, no, for sure. Rental ordinance, this is one of our newest things, and like I said, when you're talking about HOAs, you maintain property values in your subdivisions, and you have a certain standard of living that you hope that your HOA sits for. This is what our rental ordinance does. It kind of helps us maintain our property values. When you don't have some sort of regulation on some properties and some owners, you might have issues. That's when you deal with blight. Sorry. I mean, I wish everyone was just the best landlord in the world, but that's not the world we live in. But we try to make it as least invasive as possible. That was our goal when we did create this. So you have to come in. Catherine's is our lead on this, and you got to come in. You got to fill out an application, and then you get an inspection. We make it at least it's a one-time registration fee, and that's for the life of it until it changes owners, and then it's just one inspection fee. Each one is worth 2 years. Now, we also put a kicker in here that if you have less than 4 safety violations, and that was our treasurer was a big part of this, 4 safety violations, you get less than 4, you get an extra year. So we really tried to work with people and promote good landlords, right? So it was really something that was higher priority for us. It will, and you can see the benefits of compliance. It's obvious. If, people are taking care of it, they're safe, you can ensure that they're not blight. We deal with, you wouldn't even want to know how many hoarders we deal with within this township and what that does to the homes and neighboring properties. For you multifamily, that's a real kicker because if you're living next to a hoarding situation, it could potentially affect you in that next building, right? So something that we really started getting into, it's a lot more than what we thought when we're starting to get in and we're actually seeing problems. We actually had one where we actually had to tell people to leave the home because there was a gas leak. Because we sent consumers over there and our staff did a great job on this. Sent consumers over there and they said, thank God you called us because that would have been a problem quickly because the gas was leaking in the basement. We had tenants staying in a basement with only one means of egress out. So in my mind, this ordinance paid for itself with that one call that we did, and our guys took a great job. Our inspector worked closely with them to get into compliance. Obviously, they can't have 2 tenants, one in the basement and one up, but they have 1 tenant, but it is a safe, and it's moving forward as a safer property. So I was very happy with that. Next one, Chris.
Raise your hand real quick, though. Who has rentals in their neighborhood, either Airbnb or a house that someone rents or apartment? Okay.
Yeah, and that's good, because if you do, we've had a couple HOA presidents reach out and give us a list of some of their rentals that they have. I don't know if you do, but we do it. Okay, so we've had that. We call them, we get them within compliance, and it usually helps. Like I said, it's beneficial for the township, and we keep it less invasive.
Our job is the health, safety, and welfare of our residents. That guides everything we do. And there was some negativity when we adopted this ordinance about government overreach. Most developed communities have a rental ordinance. Most cities do. I mean, we're not trying to be a city, but this is a lot of the issues that have come to me over the years are renters that aren't getting a response from their landlords that are in bad situations, unsafe situations, and then we go out. So we crafted ours after many other cities that, or townships that have these, and we tried to make it, this is not a moneymaker for us. We lose money on this. We're not, that was one of the things, a few people said, oh, you're just trying to find another way to get more money out of us. We don't even cover the cost of the inspections. The goal is we want to make sure these places are safe and they're not blighted. And Dave, high-level touch on it, but the guy from Consumers said this was a home explosion waiting to happen, and the lady that lived in the basement was pregnant, no egress, and we found out about it through this new ordinance. So this is a good tool. We want to help you, have safe communities and not have slumlords.
And one thing about it, some people don't want to turn their neighbor into code enforcement because it's such a bad buzzword. One thing about our code enforcement team is we're customer service driven. We give people every opportunity to correct that issue and we're very mindful with people's private property and rights. We try to make sure that we do everything in a respectful manner and we give ample amount of time. Our guys are really good at actually working through processes. They're very good at getting voluntary compliance because we're just very respectful of people's time, energy, and whether or not they can get some. If somebody, calls in and you, as president, you might get a little frustrated with that. But if we talk to somebody and they're getting us compliance, but we work with them and we're seeing a path forward, we're going to continue to do that. Our goal is not to fine people, and we haven't fined, I could tell you on the number, Dave, how many people have we fined in your tenure since you've been here 2 years? Yes,
It's
I
more
could
than
probably
2
count
years.
under 10, like literally. And the ones that we do find, those are the ones we're going to court because they're just not even trying on their end. But we do everything in our power to really work with them. So it's something that we take very seriously, but we also understand that it's really hard for some people to get some things done. And we go as far as to help as much as we can when we have hoarder issues and mold remediation. Some of the stories that I could tell you about these gentlemen over here, their compassion with some of these people is just amazing, and I appreciate them back there. So,
Before we move on, any questions? This is new, and I saw some people kind of stirring. Any questions on the rental ordinance or any rental in the township now needs to be registered with the township? And Dave outlined what that process looks like, so.
yeah, and we'll have, if you have any questions, we have rental brochures out there. We also have applications, and we also have code enforcement complaint forms. So you can talk to Catherine, Dave, and Jeff back there.
So it could be as simple as not turning in your neighbors. We could get a list from you if you want us to, but even putting on your message boards or email groups. We went to the homeowners meeting and just know, now every rental in the township needs to be registered and inspected, so.
Thank you. Yes. If the owner is not in country, we have a stipulation that they have to have somebody that can serve as the agent within 50 miles of the property. That's a stipulation of our ordinance. Yes. You're welcome. Now, this is the big thing. This is what I was talking about. I don't know if anybody remembered, what was it, 5 years ago when we had 7 inches of rain across the street on High Hill and whatnot, that area. That really brought this to the forefront, and Mark remembers. And we've been talking about this every year. When we talk about storm water, it is always, 99% of the time, it's the HOA's responsibility to manage their stormwater systems. When I talk about systems, we talk about your detention ponds, retention ponds, the area where it's collected, the street runoff into that. Easements, that's the biggest thing I think when we deal with some of these older subs. You'll see people put berms and trees, especially in the older ones, in the easements, which causes water blockage. And if you're blocking that easement along the back edge of that property that's supposed to be drainage, it usually ends up flooding people's property. I've seen driveways wash out because of this. I've seen a lot of different issues get caused by this. Retention ponds that get backed up, and then it's really costly. So it's very important to make sure that you're monitoring this on a regular basis. You should have checklists and plans and funds to do all of the maintenance that is required. We do have checklists within, I do have checklists actually that kind of, I points out what should be done on a yearly basis or annual basis, or even it breaks it down to a monthly basis, what you need to do to maintain your system. If you do not, the township, you typically, and you usually in your master deed and bylaws, the township will have to, can step in and remedy the problem, which when you talk about us coming to do it, it's usually gonna cost you, how much more would you say?
Double.
Double, because, you
You
know.
pay
we-
government prices.
Yes, big government pricing. It's usually going to cost double. So you really need to make sure that your HOA is very proactive on this. You should be proactive on this and many other things, and I'll talk about one in a little bit. But remember, the water quality runoff, that all runs into your ponds. It's held there. Some of them hold it, some of them leak out at a restricted rate, and then they run downstream and hit other areas. Now, we work closely with Mark, and that's why he's here today, because we have had issues with HOAs, some in this room, that we have had to go in and fix and help and make sure that that gets squared away. Nothing's worse than having a saturated yard. Now, we've had very dry weather. Usually, it's not that dry like it has been there. When it hits, February, March, when we get that melt, that's when we really start to see these problems, and so we really need you to be proactive on this. If you need any information, please reach out to my department, and we can help you with anything you need for that. But remember, future planning is the biggest thing on that.
So, yeah, and I just want to jump in, because this is the big takeaway for you all. If you're not putting away $500 to $5,000 a year for this, you're in big trouble. I'm not trying to really scare you, but I'm trying to scare you a little bit. We have one HOA member, I'm so grateful he's still here, I'm sorry, don't mean to call him out, we've become really good friends, not because I'm glad we're friends, Lindsay. But through this problem, and what's Mark or Lindsay, what's the scope of work we're doing in Paint Creek Ridge right now, its cost? $500,000. Who has $500,000 in your homeowners association checking account right now? That's a sub, 30 years old-ish, Paint Creek Ridge. Their system is failing. And it's so important, because $1,000 of maintenance each year prevents a $500,000 repair. True story. And unfortunately, what a lot of people don't know, and that's why the importance of these meetings is to educate. A lot of folks think, and you don't, maybe we have engineers in this room, but, you're an HOA president, you might not be an engineer, you might not know anything about storm systems. And you might think, oh, well, that's connected to the road. For sure, the township's gonna fix the problem, or the county road commission, because they own the road, and they're not. The systems are largely private. I'd say nearly all of our systems, if not all of our systems in neighborhoods, are the responsibility of the neighborhood. And I can tell you, when I was the president of our HOA, we saw one of these presentations, and we started setting aside $1,000 a year to have someone come in and do some brush clean out at the pond and things like that, so that the trees didn't become 10 and 15 years old and then break the concrete. And that's what we're dealing with in a sub here, where every resident is paying a couple $1,000s on their tax bill to fix it. Now, luckily, that neighborhood was able to organize and agree to a special assessment district, which allows them to pay for the repairs over 10 years, so a couple $100 a year, versus if they weren't able to do that, and thankfully to the leadership of that sub, namely Lindsay, who's here, that would have been on one tax bill, no questions asked. And then we're in the position of putting people with fixed incomes out of their houses because they can't pay their taxes, and we're not in that business. But we also don't have a pot of money to fix all these private storm drainage systems. So it's really, really important. Very small, and there's a maintenance checklist. Again, this will all be on the website tomorrow for you, so you don't have to take pictures, but you can. Mark from OHM is our township engineer. Is there anything you want to add, Mark, to this? I know he's here probably specifically for this. Most of these systems will never need a $500,000 repair, but some of them will. And again, a lot of it has to do with just the regular maintenance, which is cleaning out the lines, jetting the lines. A lot of it's just keeping the ponds working, meaning go look at your retention pond and see if it looks like it hasn't been touched in 10 years. If it does, you need to do something right away.
Yeah.
We can't save you. We don't have buckets of money to fix those ponds. They're not ours issue. Yeah. I mean, we can certainly, I think the best thing would be to talk to Mark right after this, or talk to Dave, or Jeff and Dave in the back. We will help you connect with people. We're careful to not specifically recommend contractors, because then people think we're pushing business to certain people. Well, that's not what we're in the business of. But generally speaking, if you look at this stuff, none of this is really a heavy lift, except when you get to like dredging. That's like bringing in an excavator, digging some of it out. Over the years, the dirt that comes in on your car tires, and the hard part about Lindsay's sub is we had to have, in this room, we filled this room with more people than this, because we said, you're gonna get a big bill on your taxes, and that got their attention. And then the hard part about this is if you don't live next to your retention pond, most neighbors don't have any idea that when it rains, the rain falls on your roof, goes on your gutter, down your driveway, into that drain at the end of the street. And in their case, it could be 5 streets away where that pond is that's failing, and you're a homeowner saying, I've never had water in my basement ever. However, some of his neighbors have water in their basement every time it rains, and it's a responsibility of the entire subdivision. So we have some really, actually, if you go to our website and you look at that PowerPoint from there that we did in this room for that neighborhood to explain the issue to the residents that don't deal with it every day, it's a really good example. It has lots of pictures of what ponds should look like, what ponds that are failing don't, and most of it's just overgrowth and not kind of cleaning out the system. Over the years, like I said, that sediment fills the pipes, and when it rains, it pushes to the pond, and then you gotta kind of clean that outlet. And again, a lot of this work could be done with a shovel and a rake a couple times a year for volunteer labor and a wheelbarrow versus $100,000 pieces of equipment coming through and taking out truckloads of stuff.
Yes, and if you do have a concern, you can call my office, and I'll actually, how I handle this is I'll go out or I'll send an enforcement out. We make an educate, we take a look at it. We can kind of see if there's an issue. We also look on Property Gateway, and you can look back at the years to see the different views and how that pond's been filling in. And then my next call to that gentleman right there to say, okay, that's the history of this pond. Get the engineered plans. I can see where all the water's draining, how it looks. I can see if easements have been blocked. I could kind of look to see, because you're really not supposed to change from the engineered design of your sub. Now, some of these subs are older. They don't even have the plats. We don't even have some of those things. It's like people are just got ditches in their backyard, or there's a ditch in the front, right away in the front. So I do come out, we can do an evaluation. If it does escalate, then usually we'll ask you to start taking care of that. So just so you know on that. Yeah. And Phragmites. And Phragmites is a problem. Now, we do have a Phragmite program where we can get you a preferred contractor. Is that right, Aaron? Aaron, Phragmites? Yeah, we can help you with a preferred contractor for a Phragmites, because we do have a Phragmite program.
Well, you can, if you go to Oakland County Property Gateway, you don't need a password, just go in there and you can see, you can look at what it looked like, 13 years ago, and what it looked like, 25, it goes all the way back to like the 40s. But you can see changes over time, and there's before houses were there. You can see that was always natural drainage, but, and there's other tools we have too. But Mark and our team, like what we can do is we'll provide free help that we can provide. We can't send equipment out there, but we'll send our engineers out there. We'll send our team out there to give recommendations on what you should do. That checklist is really good, and a lot of this stuff is really cheap. Again, $500,000 is a real number that we're doing right now, but they would never have had to spend that if and that's why the importance of these meetings and trying to get this information out. And this is not an Orion Township problem. I talked to supervisors and mayors all over. This is a huge issue. The benefit of living in a township is your taxes are much lower than a city, but we don't own the roads and we don't own the infrastructure, and that's one of the trade-offs. So
assume so, right, Mark? I mean, if you're using that as your retention, a lot of them I don't really know a lot that do dump into the lakes, do you, Mark? Yeah, you know, and a lot of times you're dumping into wetlands. And one thing I do want to say about wetlands, we do protect our wetlands here. Eagle's a lot on our the Eagle is the regulator of our wetlands. So if you do see anybody in the wetlands, you can also contact my office and we can get the ball rolling on compliance on that. So remember, we want to protect, how many lakes we got, Chris?
42.
42 lakes. We want
Larger
to
than 5
protect our
acres.
waters. We take it very seriously. And if you don't do this, then the waters don't go where they're supposed to, and they're not put where they're supposed to, and they end up causing more issues, so. Typically, you'll want to hire a contractor as an HOA to, you know, go through this checklist, look at it. But what you're looking for typically is, you know, if you look at that, just, you know, if it's over the certain areas in it, we could, you know, you can get some of that education just by Google, obviously, just looking at it. But, you know, when that pond gets overgrown, that's usually when you start seeing issues and backup or pipes break underneath, and then that backs up on people's yards. So that's kind of what we're looking at.
That was your last slide.
Okay, a couple other things I really want to talk about. Sidewalks have been a common issue for us in the last few years, which has never been. Sidewalks typically are in the right-of-way, but they are the responsibility of the property owner that's adjacent to them. If you look at our sidewalk ordinance, safety path ordinance, you got to be aware of that. It is a liability too, and it's a liability for just about everybody. Because if somebody gets hurt on that, it's an issue. So you really should be making sure that you're walking your sidewalks, making sure that they're safe, you know, when you talk about trip hazards and whatnot. We do have issues where we have to step in, and if we have to step in and fix sidewalks, what's it gonna do? Price is gonna skyrocket. Now, so have that plan for that as well, to make sure that you're making sure that our sidewalks. Now, a lot of times these street trees are what causing issues with sidewalks with their roots and stuff, so pay attention to those areas and whatnot. And we really are cracking down on signs. In the right-of-way, political signs, yard signs. Now, you're allowed to have one yard sign in your private property per parcel. We are cracking down. You're not gonna see 50 political signs on the corner anymore. We're very happy to push this
Not just
forward.
political, any signs, gutter signs,
Yes,
painters, keep the community clean.
Yes, we usually go out, like, I have to send our code enforcement team out on Saturdays a lot, because they'll throw them out on Fridays, and we try to clean them up as much as we can. It's a constant process getting these signs. So we're really hoping, I don't know if you've been around in the election season, but the signs get out of control down here. That man in the back, Mike, can speak to that, but we're definitely pushing that, and it's just to get rid of them. We want our community looking nice and tight. And that's our responsibility as enforcement, is to make sure our community stays nice, right? This is, we're living in as a vacation. We want to make sure we're holding people to a standard, and we hope the HOAs hold those people to the same standard. We're going to do it very professionally and we're very passionate about what we do, but you guys got to be on board with that as well and support us, because we will support you. So I think that's all I have there. So if any questions? Yes. Half inch, I mean, that's a little, yeah, I think, I'm more 3/4. When you talk about a trip hazard in the building code, it's usually 1 1/4 with a trip hazard. Obviously, 3/4 a lot, especially when you're some of your accessibility sections where, if you got to put a wheelchair or a motorized vehicle over a 1/2 inch, that seems to take it. You get to 3/4, it might be an issue. Usually when we talk about trip hazards, it's 1 1/4. But obviously, it's not going to get better. It starts to heave, But when you talk about that, you don't have to replace the whole slab when you're talking a 1/2 inch. You can grind it. There's different, cost-effective things that you don't have to replace that whole section. So something to keep in mind.
That's another one. The township, we own the safety path network and maintain the safety path network on the road right-of-ways and the large roads, but in the neighborhoods, we do not. So if you're thinking we're gonna come in and fix the sidewalks in your neighborhood, if you have them in your neighborhood, we're not. We don't. We're working on another special assessment district potentially with a different sub to replace their sidewalk. So that's the, thank you, Dave.
Yes.
He'll be around as well as they're the gist of a lot of the neighborhood issues, so we gave you a little grace on your time, but thank you. And I did pull up on the screen, if you go to our website, because we won't be able to link all this stuff, we're gonna put the presentation in there, but tomorrow, the presentation will be here in featured news, and I just scrolled, you can scroll right and left. And this is really interesting, if you wanna, if you click on the Paint Creek, sorry, I clicked on the wrong thing, oh, there it is. You can actually watch the meeting, recording of the meeting here, but and also see that PowerPoint presentation, which I just had on the screen, which has got some good images and things that show you, that's what your ponds look like when your neighborhoods were built, and that's what Paint Creek Ridge's pond looked like a few weeks ago. Sorry, Lindsay, I won't poke you anymore, I promise. Yeah, it was actually might have been worse, but, and so you can see how all those roots and trees and things stop the flow of water, and even worse, break the pipes and things underneath the ground that you can't see and cause it to not work anymore. And then your neighbor's basements flood or even worse. All right, next we move to the treasurer's office for a quick update, and he gets 2 minutes because we're trying to keep, yeah.
I don't need it. Treasury, that's what I do. I'm your tax collector. So really the only thing that probably affects this group, although happy to answer any questions, is we also process dog tags, dog licenses, but the county is taking that over, and although we were supposed to have the updates by a few weeks ago, we don't have them yet. The bottom line is you'll be getting dog licenses through the county online. We will still be happy to help you. You can come to the Treasury counter and we'll help you process those, but that'll be taken away. You used to come here and buy your park passes. We still have people who come and try to buy a park pass. You don't need to buy them anymore. The last election, there was a millage pass for the Oakland County parks, and now Oakland County parks are free to all residents. So take your vehicle, park it there, you're good to go just because you're an Oakland County resident. So you don't have to worry about that. Other than that, Treasury, we collect your taxes. We collect the taxes for a lot of other groups, and we disperse them. We invest it, and we secure that money, and happy to answer any questions anytime that you might have regarding your taxes. You can come right to our department, and we'll be happy to help you. Any questions?
Nobody likes taxes.
Come on, guy. No. I'm just kidding.
All right,
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming out.
clerk's team, Julia. Thank you, Matt. That was 1 minute. Good job, Matt.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Julia Dalrymple, and I am your newly elected clerk here in 2024.
So go to the mic because we're recording. Thank you.
Couple updates for everybody. First things we wanted to let you know is that if you are looking to get your passport or your kids need a passport, we do them here in our office. It's really easy, simple. You make an appointment online with our online system. You come in and we can get that processed for you very quickly for you. Then next we do have an election coming in November. So if you are interested in being an election inspector, we are always looking for people to join the crew. So there's a QR code that goes to that, and it's also on the website.
Sorry, there it is.
There we go. And early voting is coming back to our location again. So this year it will continue to be here in the Dragon Room. So that's the 9 days of early voting with Oakland County. We will have that again this year. And then I did have one other thing that I wanted Chris to show you. So here in the clerk's office, we do all of the peddlers and solicitors. So if you get people who are coming to your doors and they are not wearing a badge from us, then that's how you would know that they are not registered to be in our township. And all of the applications are processed. They go through Lieutenant Weir's office. But if you click on any of this in here, so if you go to peddlers and solicitors, if you click on, scroll down a little more by the little person.
Oh, there it was. There
we
it was,
go. Yep. And then scroll down. And then if you click on any one of these are all of the ones that are approved right now. So if you click on one, that is the person who is assigned to that. You can see when their badge expires, what the name is for them. You can see all the information. So if there's anyone that comes to your door and knocks on it and does not have a Lake Orion badge, you can call the phone number. It's right at the top of the screen. You can call that phone number and let us know that there are people in your neighborhoods that should not be there, and Lieutenant Weir and crew will come out and check into that for you.
So, quick note on this. We cannot control people that are trying to get you to vote for them. So elections, they can do that. The law allows that. But anyone that's trying to sell you something has to go through this process. And so our sheriff's deputies are wonderful. If they don't have a township badge and they're not displaying it, and obviously you're probably not going to have time to pull up your phone and go to the website and find their picture, but you can see everyone approved here. Anybody that gets approved has to go through a background check. And if you call, that's that non-emergency police number again, 858-4911. Our deputies are very professional, and we'll meet them in your street and say, you haven't registered, you need to do that through the township, or check on them and make sure that they're keeping your neighborhood safe.
We're actually updating them right now, and they will look like our badges, so they'll be printed on there. Right now, it's a paper one that's laminated that then is on a lanyard. So we are updating them to look more official like ours, but on a lanyard laminated, with the township logo on it. It has their information, their name, other identifying things about them printed right on there.
And you don't have to, so you can tell your neighbors, they don't have to confront them. They could just nicely close the door and call. We've had some neighbors that were really excited that they caught someone, tried to hold them there and things, and that's not the best approach either. It's best just to call Keith's team, and they will handle it very professionally. And a lot of times there's confusion. I mean, we're really blessed because we're safe, that we don't have a lot of people trying to do nefarious things, but we have to, this is one more way that we are trying to make sure our neighborhoods are safe. Thank you, Julia. And that brings us to parks. But to answer your question, Katie, we're way friendlier than the post office. All right, our park, I'm trying to get back to the right slide here, sorry. Aaron Watley, our Parks and Rec Director.
Did you lose a button up here? Dave, did you lose one? Okay. Anyways, I'll try to be pretty quick here. We have the fun stuff, and just showing you some highlights from last year. We have Pasadena Pocket Park on the left-hand side. We'll be having a ribbon cutting
November 12th.
November 12th. So make sure you come on out 4:30. Lower, we have Camp Agawam, that's a fire bowl. We'll be doing some more improvements this year. Orion Events and Friends of Camp Agawam, they host a bunch of concerts out there, along with Wildwood Amphitheater. So the township offers 10 free concerts, and then Orion Events offers a variety of other concerts, anywhere from $20, $30 shows, and then we have Johnny Black's that serves on the hill. It's just a wonderful time out there, so.
Sorry.
Oh, that's all right. You know, the rest of the stuff is just general improvements. Kind of, I want to speak to the attention to detail. So if you or any of your homeowners are out either on the safety path in the parks, and you notice anything that's out of the ordinary, there's trash, there's whatever, let us know. We're a fairly small staff for operational purposes, and the more eyes, the merrier. We'll never be mad at anybody that's telling us, hey, we have trash cans that are overflowing, a piece of equipment's broken. You can either give us a call in the office or go on our website. There's a report an issue, and we'll address it right away. So we want to make sure, to Dave's point, the rest of the departments, that we're taking pride in our community, and that's the same for our parks, our green space, our trails, everything. So let us know. Few other important things. We were awarded a wonderful grant for Maybe Road, so that'll be probably a 2-year project. And that's from Roar Road. I forget the entrance, but it's over the wetland. It's a very small section. It'll be about a $1.3 million project, and we got just over $800,000 for that. So thanks to OHM and team. Indianwood Pathway, that will be a labor of love for many years. We will continuously try to do that pathway from Joslin Road to M24. That is our goal. It's going to be very costly, and it's going to take some time, but we are slowly procuring easements. design work, and again, we'll keep trying for some grant dollars to make that connection, so. Yes. Nope, there might be some intermediate, or, just some closures every now and then, so. But that'll probably be 27-ish, right? 27, so. It's TAP grants are incredibly long and frustrating federal projects, so it'll be fun. But we're already trying for another one. GM Pathway, that's going in. That's a wonderful grant that Township Supervisor Chris and the board were able to secure for GM, that whole redevelopment of Brown Road over in that area. And along with that came safety path improvement, so. How much was that, 13 million?
I mean, we've gotten 25 million state and federal dollars to redo the roads, build safety paths. For a township to get $0 for roads is a remarkable feat. Our team did amazing, so.
Pretty awesome. And then I won't go through all the other stuff, but the few highlights I wanted to talk on that, to Dave's point, for invasive species, for your retention ponds, the township is involved in a Phragmites treatment program, so we work with a vendor. We hold the permit in the township, and we work with a preferred vendor. They will go out and give you a no-cost estimate. So you can have them come out in, August, September-ish. They will come out and give you an analysis of your retention pond, your property, whatever it may be, tell you what the fee is. Normally, it's very, very inexpensive, unless you get to a point where you have, 10 acres of just Phragmites. And then they'll come out right before the frost. I think they're in our community the next 3 days doing some treatments. But if you look and you see Phragmites, 1/3 of the plant is above ground. So they are very, very large.
Do you know what a Phragmite is? I didn't put any picture. It's a cattail without the cattail. It has feathers, but they're not good because they create a monoculture. They basically choke out all the natural trees and flowers and plants, and they're really bad in your storm retention ponds, and you probably have them there. And like Aaron said, 1/3 is above ground, 2/3 is below. It's like a mass that is your big expensive ticket in your retention ponds, and they're invasive. They're not natural from here. It's a problem across Michigan, across the whole Midwest. But they look just like cattails, and the only thing they're missing is the cattail part of the cattail. That's a Phragmite. And so if you have them in your retention ponds, like we talked about back with Dave, you need to get on the plan. And as Aaron stated, we have a township-wide permit. So normally you'd have to go to the state to get a permit to treat, and just that alone is enough to keep most HOAs and residents from ever doing it. We took the step 5 or 6 years ago. I think we're one of the first communities in the state to do that. And we have a list of preferred vendors we will share with you. And like Aaron said, it's really cheap to treat. It's really expensive if you let them wreak havoc. They don't ever just go away on their own. And you can't just cut them down. You have to treat them, cut them, treat them with a specific chemical. It's safe to do if you use the right stuff with them. Usually just hire it out. But it's a big problem in our area.
Once you realize what Phragmites is, you will go to a wedding and you'll see centerpieces of Phragmites, and you'll be like, no, you spread it everywhere. So, what's that? They're still seeding everywhere.
People like them for privacy along the roads because they are really good privacy, but they're really bad. So.
Yeah, I mean, Katie, your was what, 150 each year for that? Okay. They are very flammable.
Well, if anybody remembers, about 10 years ago, there was a big fire at Great Lakes Crossing. Not the explosion, but there was another fire, and it was really windy, and it was Phragmites. They melted fences, jumped over the Great Lakes Crossing Road. It was so windy and started the other side on fire. Closed I-75 because you couldn't see because there was so much smoke. But that's not the best way to treat them either. So it's best just to get a professional. And I mean, we have had people doing it for a couple $100 an acre. So it's not real expensive, but again, they love water, they suck up the water, so if you look at your retention and detention areas, you, more than likely, if you haven't ever done anything, you probably have them there. So check with Aaron and his team, and we'll get you the right information. And a lot of the pain of trying to get the permits, we've already handled for you. So please take advantage of that.
They crowd out all your birds and all your frogs and stuff like that. Do not live with them.
The last thing I wanted to say, I guess on this slide, we're kind of in the process of backfilling a natural resource position, but we do have Kiner Ryder. He is was our naturalist, so he's still on staff. He's taken an elevated role. But if there's issues in your community that there's invasive species, questions about a diseased tree, whatever it may be, we're a great resource. You can reach out to us. The purpose of that role is to be a support to the community as a whole, as natural resources. So if you have a sick tree or vines or whatever it may be that's invading an area, just give us a shout. We'd be happy to send somebody out, take a look. If we can't give you an answer on it, we have the resources to be able to reach out to MSU Extension, get the appropriate people out there to see if there's any issue there, so. Yeah. Sure. Large trees too, yeah. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I mean, some of those trees are probably at the end of their life. And as you can see them, it'll just start, the greenery will just start going up and up and up until it's all dead, so. I don't have an answer on that, but, yeah. Point taken, we'll look into it for sure. The next one, just kind of going through our leagues. We're, again, trying to make some improvements on some things, always striving for excellence, so let us know if there's any issues. Oakland County Chore Grant, if you have any older citizens in your community or that need help plowing, there's an eligibility program. You can go on our website and there's an application. And it's a grant that our 50-plus group was able to secure. So we will do yard cleanups, mowing, snow plowing, a variety of different things. So I don't have the eligibility requirements memorized, but please check our website and see if that's something that works for you. And then, just the highlights on Great Lakes Athletic Club. So the township purchased that about 2 years ago. We've been making some improvements. So it's going really, really well from the point of May 1st through August 31st. We've had 104 visits through the door. So the facility's definitely being. 104,000. What did I say, 104? 104,000, yeah. 104,000. So it's, we're grateful to the community and the board support to be able to purchase that and make some improvements, and there'll be more to come on that very soon.
November 12th, we're doing the ribbon cutting at the park on Baldwin, Heritage Park, but then right after that, you're gonna hear a lot about this. It's gonna be a really big event, not just highlighting there'll be tours and things of the community center, it's your community center, but we'll have a naming contest that's starting next week that will culminate that day. And then we're gonna really highlight the recreational investments this community has made in the last decade. And secret, don't tell anybody, but you can. We don't think there's any community in our region, or maybe even the state, that's made the amount of investment into recreation and park space that we have, even close. And we're gonna highlight a lot of that night. It's gonna be a fun taste of Orion, lots of local restaurants, free, November 12th. A lot more to come on that, but you're gonna hear we'll give you lots of stuff to talk about and see that day, but we're super pumped about it. Yep, it's still coming. That's why we're gonna celebrate on November 12th, because we've done it all without incurring debt. And we're really proud of that. Any questions for Aaron? Parks, invasive species, facilities, yeah.
Yeah, so we have our free, or community spaces, and then we have essentially pay to play. So we have our 50-plus wing lobby area. We're kind of retooling the cafe area to a community space that's free. You can go there, utilize it, use the Wi-Fi. But we have, euchre, bingo, a ton of different spaces in there. And then we have a few different programs for senior age. If you make sure you check to see if you're eligible for silver sneakers or renew active. If you are eligible for those, that's one thing we've instituted. You essentially pay $0. So that'll give you full access to the club and all the amenities, variety of classes. And then there's day passes that we've instituted that'll kind of give you a full gamut of everything. And then, just our yoga, the things that we've done before at other places. So, yes, pickleball. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. I think Tuesday and Thursday drop-ins. Don't quote me on that. It's I'm pretty sure Tuesday for sure. Yep. If not, but Tony over at Palazzo Debacci would be pretty upset with
No, but we might. We have lots of opportunities.
Yeah, there is.
Let's, we have one more person we're gonna hear from, and then just see if there's any general questions. And then our team will stick around for 15, 20 minutes here, because I told them they had to be here till 9. But thank you all. I know some of you need to leave. This is a long night, but really good stuff. I just wanted to thank you, Aaron, yeah. Linda Crane is here. She's gonna come, you're coming up, right? We didn't even practice this, but I thought oh, yes. Linda's here. She's a volunteer on our sub and part of the Lake Orion Lake Association, and also the Environmental Resource Committee. And I hope you know about these slides, because we put them in here for you. And some of this was already covered a little bit. Okay, good. All right. Well, listen, I just got back in town, so thank you, Linda.
Well, I am the chairman of the Environmental Resource Committee, and we are looking for volunteers. And if you have a passion for the environment, currently we're looking at our lakes. They're a vital part of our community. And health, can you hear me? Health, recreation, natural beauty. But keeping them clean is everyone's responsibility. So our volunteer opportunities are in water quality testing. Eagle provides a kit and I have resources that will help you learn how to test the water in your lakes and to see if if it's clean, and everybody likes clean water to swim in, and the water's all flow, from the different streams and into each other and from the retainers and everything. So it's a good idea to know whether your area has clean water. Invasive plant identification helps spot the non-native plants threatening our aquatic ecosystem. Next slide. Here we go. We have a QR code up in the corner. If you're interested in volunteering, early detection of problems protect our wildlife, recreation, and property values. Community-driven data informs smart policies and fundings for lake preservations. Volunteering is a great way to learn, meet neighbors, and make a real difference. and we're charming. No experience needed. The Orion Township Environmental Resource Committee will provide access and all the training and tools and mentors, flexible schedules, sign up now, and to help keep our Orion Township lake safe. Thank you.
Linda wins the record for being on time, maybe Matt too. But thank you, Linda, and in all seriousness, we couldn't survive without amazing people like Linda and every one of you here. So, two other notes, and normally we have this slide on the last one. We created a homeowners association. I know not everyone's on Facebook, but when we do our community survey, we ask our residents how they get information. Hopefully you enjoy the magazine, because that's something that we dreamt about 10 years ago and took us 5 or 6 to get going, but now we're rolling with it. But Facebook is a tool that a lot of people use here. We created a private Orion Township Homeowners Association group. We'll put that in this slide deck. It'll be on the website tomorrow. You have to answer a couple questions to join. We don't spam you. The purpose of that is for you to connect with each other. One of the cool things that's come out of this meeting over the last 10 or so years since we've been doing them is people talk, share information. We know the road commission doesn't do a great job getting our subs and plowing the streets, so a lot of you have different contracts. So who do you guys use for plowing? Oh, you're in Keatington, we're on the Keatington on the other side of the lake. Maybe we can do a joint bid. You know, what are you guys doing on whatever? It's fill in the blank. So we're just trying to find connection points. I wish there was a representative from every homeowners association here, because we think the information, even though we took a couple hours of your life, hopefully it was important and interesting. All this will be available on the website. But the goal is to be here, a resource for you, our great volunteers, and support your efforts. And that's why we're here. So any final questions or anything that anybody wants to share with the whole group briefly, so then we can leave in the next 2 minutes, and then we can leave the next 10 or 15 for you all to have individual conversations if you need that. Anyone need to share anything? Any pressing issues that we didn't cover that we should have or you need help on? Cool. We covered it. Thank you all. We'll kind of be hanging out here for a little bit. So if you need any of us, please grab our cards, our information. But thank you for coming.